sort of finishing question I had in mind, but I think you've already addressed it, is not all politics is bad.
Yep.
Perhaps, and sometimes we may need to use it. How can we use it in constructive and ethical ways? And I think, what you mentioned about building coalitions and networks.
Yep. Those skills.
To access influence and power is one of those ways. You also touched on resisting negative influence. Again, it really comes down to the relationships and access to important people in the organisation.
If you get rid of that slide and we get to talk. So the only thing we haven't spoken about is how we manage conflict, I suppose.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Because, but really, managing conflict, I think we've already covered in how we do it. We need to be actively involved in the relationship.
Yep.
We need to be observing what's going on and understanding the other person's interests.
Right.
And we need to be actively engaged in the conversation.
Okay.
So I use this phrase, people are cold in conflict, and they're people who dislike conflict and avoid it at all costs.
Yep.
Then there are people who are hot in conflict, and they're the loud people who almost seem to spend their time searching for conflict.
Yeah. Sounds like my wife.
And so probably, you're together because there's that dynamic of cold and hot. And once again, like the trust and power scale, the challenge is to cool down the hot ones, warm up the cold ones, and meet somewhere in the middle. And the middle is where the people who say they're not in conflict but are can say they are. Then the hot ones can cool down and calm down and speak so everyone can be engaged in a healthy conversation. And really, our challenge here is for healthy relationship, because once if you and I are in conflict and we stay in the organisation and we don't resolve it, we'll create workarounds where we avoid each other.
Right. And
so once again, as you said about the two people and you can see it, those workarounds can be destructive.
Right.
So constructive doesn't mean no conflict. It means we resolve conflict openly, transparently, and we fight fair together.
Right, right.
And ultimately, you will need that skill set as you progress up in an organisation, because it becomes more and more robust as you move up the organisation.
And I mean, one of the things that contributes to conflict is just another person or group probably blocking your access to something you care about. And as you move up an organisation, that's probably going to happen more and more as resources become a little tighter.
And it's important then you can influence based on strategic intent, and based on your ability to tell a story that engages everybody. Because the truth is that there is competition for scarce resources. And it's those who present the best story will get the resources. So once again, we're building your influencing capabilities, because that's what happens when you get into senior roles, that you become more and more influential. And one of the skills is, as we've spoken about those other skills, the ability to tell a story that everyone engages in, which involves emotion. So we go back to that emotional intelligence aspect. That becomes more and more important as we move up the organisation. And managing, the truth is we have to manage ourselves and everybody else all the time.
Okay, excellent.